Well, hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Movie Community College. I am the professor, and this is a movie review. Jabby is not with me. That was just what we call a misdirect. It was a clever thumbnail to make you think we were together. I apologize. Maybe not. I apologize only if you didn't watch. Sorry. Anyway, so I'm here to talk about the film OMG. Oh my God. It was an Indian film. I think it's 2012 when it was a satire comedy drama film, and it was based on, and I didn't know this, on a play that later turned into an Australian film called The Man Who Sued God. The main characters in this is Kumar and Raul, and this film was considered a blockbuster, and it is in the Bollywood Top 100, and I think this would be number 79 if my math is right. If I didn't confuse it with anything in the actual listing of numbers here. And what we have here is Raul. Raul's a business owner. And I would say he's probably middle class. He looked middle class. He owns a Hindu shop of idols and antiques in Mumbai. He's married. His wife is very devout. You see her all through the movie kind of praying and seeking the God's favors. And she has interest in her son kind of participating in the festivals, the parades, and whatnot. But he's an atheist. He's an atheist, and he owns this shop where he sells idols to Hindus, and he has a kind of a little helper dude, a chubby little helper guy who I thought was really good part, really good actor, and he's kind of in between Raul's disrespect for Hinduism, for anything. It's not just Hinduism, it's anything that is of God, supernatural, of beyond, but he's also wants to be a good employee, and so you see this character kind of trying to juggle these things, and we kind of see at the lengths that Raul goes into to make a buck. He flat out takes advantage of people's desire to draw closer to God and capitalizes on it. He makes merchandise of it, literally. And he even tells stories and lies about how statues just appeared out of the ground and I can't sell it to you because of this, and trying to drive the price up, right? And he's really kind of arrogant in the film. He really is kind of arrogant. He's really kind of like, you people are morons for believing this, and I'm gonna make all this money and take it to the cleaners, right? But during a day of his activity, there is a earthquake. A low intensity earthquake hits the city. And it's kind of the talk a little bit, and the thing that we quickly come to find is it was targeted. It was a targeted earthquake on this dude's shop. So Raul loses his shop, loses everything, and he's kind of the attitude of like, you know what, it's okay, I'll just go to the insurance. We got insurance on, that's why we got insurance. I'll just get the insurance, and the insurance says, the company says, well, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate your business, but we can't cover it because this is classified as an act of God. And you aren't covered for act of gods, right? And so then he's kind of like, well, I'm kind of in a spot. I need to pay this off. I need to get my money out, and we find out in a conversation with onlookers of like, well, at least you don't have any debt on this. At least this was just all cash and you can just start over. And he said, I mortgaged my house for this. I have no way now to pay this mortgage on my property, which means the bank moves in and takes over his house. And so he's now getting into this desperate situation of the divine closing in on him, that he comes up with an idea. He comes up with an idea that he is going to sue God. He's going to sue God. He's going to sue every God, anything, all things. And we see him go to the first lawyer, who kind of is just like, you're wasting my time, dude. And then he goes to Puri, who is a Muslim lawyer who is he paraplegic? I guess he's paraplegic. He was defending innocent Hindus, and the Muslim community turned on him and injured him. And so he can't quite be a lawyer like he used to, but he's giving advice to Raul about how to do this. So Raul, he files a lawsuit, a complaint against all these religious characters. He files a complaint against, gurus and swamis and anybody and everybody. And this was really interesting to me, because when we see these, these not affidavits, these subpoenas be delivered to the different religious leaders, you quickly see some are very genuine. Say, maybe we should go talk with him and listen to what he has to say and offer some guidance and counsel. And other ones are trying to capitalize on it. There was a guy, and I don't know his name, who walked in the red paint, and then he stepped in on a thing, and it was his footprints, and they were selling them for like 1,500 rupees, I guess. I don't know. And you could see some of them. There was a handful of them who decided to just to kind of use this to their own advantage. So quickly you got to see religion, faith separated into two camps. People who are practitioners of it, who believe it, who are striving for, some type of inner peace, and others who are charlatans, who are just trying to cash in on this. During the, I think probably the first hearing, the opposition lawyer asked the judge to dismiss the case because but Kanji, who is Raul's character, points out that these religious groups are representing God, therefore they speak for God on earth, so this court case should be able to go forward. He then finds himself kind of trapped among armed fundamentalists, and with the bank kind of taking over his house, his wife is leaving him, and it is a really bad scene. It's like the world is imploding on him, and he's rescued. He's rescued by Kumar. He's rescued by Kumar, who's a real estate agent, and he rides the, a real cool kind of motorbike, and he buys the house from the bank and allows a Kanji to stay there with him, right? So he's like, yeah, I bought your home, but you can stay there with me. And this lawsuit causes such a public outcry. People are just going crazy over it. And Kanji and Krishna, which is Kumar's playing Krishna, is watching this on TV. And Krishna advises him to go to the media and present his views to the public. Go and let them know what you think, and see if you can swing public opinion in your favor. But what we find out is this act of God business with the insurance company. They're doing this to everybody. They're trying to get everything classified as an act of God, just so they don't have to pay anything. And it's interesting, in American insurance, there is an act of God policy. Like, you have to buy that, so where they can say, well, that was an act of God. We don't cover that. We have that. I don't have an act of God policy, but you can buy them, which is kind of funny. And so different people begin to, they're really upset because they're being rejected by the act of God instead. So they start joining in on the lawsuit. And Kanji agrees that he's going to fight for everybody. We're going to take it to them. And then in the next court session, Catholic priests, Muslim mullahs are summoned as defendants. But the lawyer points out that Kanji has no proof that this disaster was an act of God. Has no proof. He's got no proof. And so the judge orders Kanji, you got to show us some written proof, dude. You just can't do that. And he's really dejected because he's like, how am I going to get out of this? I need the money. I need to do this. And Krishna again kind of steps in and says, why don't you read, and what was it? Well, he tells him to read the Quran, read the Bible, read the Bhagavad Gita, if I'm saying that right. And and take some time and study these things, and maybe you'll find some written proof there about an act of God. And so he's studying these books for a month, man. I mean, he's like in them, which I think is very, very, very smart on Krishna's part to get him into the holy books, because things like the Bible are axiomatic, which means they're self-proving. The more you study, the more you know, the more you realize, wow, this is true. And I think you find that in true philosophies, in true ideologies, they become axiomatic. And so he's studying, and he comes across one of the holy books. And I don't remember what they say this, but I know it's in the Bible, and I'm sure it's in other references too of other books. The world is the creation of God, and it is His will to allow it to grow or to destroy. And he says, aha, I got it. And I'm going to use that, and we can prove it, because here it is in the holy book. The world is created by God. God has the right to do whatever He wants to. Therefore, He had the right to destroy my property, and therefore He is responsible. And so you see this kind of swing of momentum, and he's ready to go. And as he's nearing the end of his argument in court, he loses consciousness. He's rushed to the hospital where doctors try to revive him, and unfortunately he's left in a coma. He's left in a coma. They announce to the media that he's been paralyzed, and now there is no medical options whatsoever. There's nothing the doctors can do. The science can't save him. We don't know what, but only God can save him. Only God can save him. And then when Kanji opens his eyes, he finds Krishna in front of him. And Krishna is very kind and loving to him. And he begins to kind of, massage, caress the left side of the body, and Kanji's now able to walk. He reveals to the confused our confused character Kanji that he himself isn't just a real estate guy. He isn't just, like a wise dude, that he is Lord Krishna. And he saves Kanji to show him that God does exist. And Kanji learns that he has been in a coma for a month, and a lot of things have happened during that period. The lawsuit verdict was in favor of the religious organizations. The court ordered compensation be paid to all the plaintiffs. The people started calling Ganji a god. There was a temple dedicated to him that accumulated millions and millions and millions of dollars in donations. He also learned that, per his own will, he is about to be removed from the ventilator, and thousands were gathered for a funeral procession. And Krishna gave him a choice of stopping the procession or sitting back quietly and seeing kind of what happens. And Kanji decided to go through the stunned crowd and break the statue and admonish the crowd about trusting in God-men. He advised them to go search for God in themselves, not in statues, which sounds something very much like Sadhguru would say, wouldn't he? Doesn't it sound very much like that? And then the crowd just gets so angry towards the collected God-men, but he prevents further violence and tells them that they're telling them to allow the cheating group to leave peacefully. After completing this job, he goes back to Krishna. He thanks him, only to find that he's gone. He's gone. He's absolutely gone. And that he sees the keychain on the floor. And he hears Krishna's voice telling him to get rid of the keychain, as if fear of God was what he fought against all the time. Kanji smiles and he throws it away into the sky with a flash. This movie, this was a really good movie, and like I said, this is a Bollywood top 100. But I think that this is a hard movie. This is a hard movie to do, and I have to give Kumar a lot of credit for this, because whenever you venture into something that is religious, whether it is Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, you will make fundamental people upset, because the fundamentalists, regardless of religion, think that this is sacred, and there is an aspect of it that is sacred that should not be portrayed or discussed or played with or disrespected. And I thought, if I were an actor and Hollywood came to me and said, we want you to play Jesus Christ, I would be nervous about doing it. I would be really nervous about doing it because that's something that is very sacred to me. Like, I wouldn't want to disrespect him, draw his anger, give the wrong impression of him. And I have to give Kumar a lot of credit for taking on the role of Lord Krishna in marching it out with conviction and doing a really good job, doing it in a way it was funny without being disrespectful. It was insightful without being oversimplified. It was clever again without making light of people's faith. I have a lot of respect for Kumar. To do this film, to do it well, to tackle this subject, to bring in the pantheon of religions and pull them in together for a film and show different aspects and even kind of talk about how some of them are corrupt and some are not. Boy, oh boy, that's a powder keg. This thing could have blown up and been a disaster. It really could have been. It could have been the end of his career. It really could have been. And he did a great job. And I have to tell you, I remember doing a podcast about the top 10 Bollywood actors, and Ani was like, dude, this is way too soon for you to be doing that. My list has changed a million times since then. I think Kumar is very underrated. I think Kumar is a guy that if you add him to your movie, it doesn't matter what the script is, it doesn't matter the writing, the producing, the directing, he will make the film better. He alone will make the film better. He's a really good actor, and I was thoroughly impressed with this. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great to see this exploration of faith. And to have the one common belief, I believe, of atheism is a fear of God. The book of Hebrews tells us it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of God. And we saw this happen in the film. We saw a man fall in the hands of God, of a living God, and how his life was, and what was happening for him, against him. And really, really everything is designed, I believe, by God to teach us something, to encourage us, to correct us, everything. The warrior queen's favorite verse is from a book in the Bible called Romans. It's 8:28. And it talks about how all things are orchestrated for the benefit of those who love and believe in God. Whether it's good or bad, God uses everything to teach us, to bring us to a part of I think, I watched a video earlier today that it was about how Yagi became guru, Sadhguru, and he talked about this idea of oneness, of becoming aware, that everything for the believer works in that way to bring you about to this moment in time where you realize the divine, you realize the immortal, you realize your own mortality, you realize that there are things in this world that are way more important than, a little do-re-mi, a little action on the side, a little creature comforts. Those things are distractions. So I thought this was a very good movie. If you haven't seen the movie, you really should see the movie. And again, I think when you look at this, Kumar, great job. I mean, really a great job. He was put into a tough situation, I think, to play. You know what I mean? That's a tough. How would you like to be? We have some famous Muslim actors that are Indian. SRK, Salman Khan, Irfan Khan. How would you? I mean, can you imagine if they were asked to do a film about Muhammad, to play Muhammad? That would be very, very difficult to do because you're going to make somebody mad. No, and it's not even your intention to. You're going to make somebody mad. When I do videos on Hinduism and I talk about Hinduism, I get a lot of emails about, and these are the emails I get, and people tell me Hinduism is real. It's our history. The Mahabharata is this is where we came from, right? Or people will say it's a metaphor. This is all about what's inside of you. These are teachings for you to understand, kind of like a philosophy of how to center yourself, center your chi, whatever, however you want to say it. And other ones say it's not real. This is just stories, you know, folk tales. And I mentioned these 3 points of view, and I'm not endorsing any of the points of view. I'm not putting any of them down. I just mention them. People lose their mind. They unsubscribe and threaten to kill me because somehow I have disrespect. I'm just bringing up what Indians have told me. And so I just, for Kumar to do this at such a huge stage was such an opportunity, I think, for people to turn on him and hate him because he didn't do this right or he didn't do that right. And I was floored by the conviction of his performance, how well he delivered it. He was a believable character. He was a fun character, and it was a movie that I felt like you could watch and leave and think about the world outside of you and maybe your own moral compass within you and what you think is right and wrong. And so I don't know if my friends are going to hate this review or if they're going to love it. But the film is good. The film is really good. And I really enjoyed watching it. It was a great film. Again, a Bollywood Top 100. Easy. I mean, no-brainer. Easy. And I hope you go check it out. Please go check it out. It is worth the wait. It is worth the watch. Now, I just saw on Netflix, Namaste London just hit. What? I'll be watching that. And what's the name with Amir Khan where he has dyslexia, the little kid with dyslexia? That just hit Netflix too. And so I'm going to go check that out. And then Sacred Games hit, but I don't think I'm going to watch it. The Warrior Queen left me a note about it and said that there's a ton of nudity and sex scenes and a lot of sexual immorality, which is unfortunate because, well, that's a separate deal. It's a separate deal. We'll do another video on that. I'll go do that video right now. I'll catch you guys later. Peace and much love. Great film. Great film. You guys got to see it. You guys have to see it.